Ba-da-ba-ba, ba-da-ba-ba. I got him. You got him. We got him. Comic issues, yeah. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Comic Issues, where I collect them and you select them. This is episode number 4, my 1-week anniversary. So I'm pretty stoked. Hopefully we get a good comic pool. We got 6, I think, things to put on the wheel. I have that set up, and we'll be spinning that here in a minute. I just wanted to say something cool that my friend texted me the other day, and he's like, I don't even like comics, but I like watching your video, and I like hearing you review them, and that's what I'm really looking for with this channel. I want to try to get more people that think comics are just about superheroes to know that there's a vast plethora of storytelling and art out there that they don't even know about. So they should hopefully my collection will show that there's something for everyone out there, and maybe some people will be inspired to start reading comics. So that's what I'm hoping for. But anyways, let's get the wheel up here. I got it all set up. We'll go ahead and press play on that, and we'll do the spin. Here we go. Alright, looks like P46. P46 has it. So we'll go ahead and get that comic out, put it in the envelope, and we'll come back to do the reveal. Be right back with you. Alright, I'm back. Got the comic. This is the funnest part for me. I like reading them too, but the mystery is always awesome. So let's go ahead and get this one out, P46. Let's see what it is. Ooh. So this, I bought this. This is it's Dead Man Logan #1. Try to do a better job of showing it this time, and we'll pop it up there. But so I bought this because it has a special variant cover. I think this variant cover was originally kind of expensive, but I got it on a deal not too long ago from Midtown Comics, which is up in New York. They're just a huge comic retailer up in New York City. I think they got 3 or 4 shops, and one of them's 2 stories. But I've never been there, but I've wanted to go. But they have some deals every once in a while. They'll send you an email if you get on their list, and it'll be, we're doing 80% off back issues, so select back issues or something like that. So I think I ordered like maybe a 50 or 60 when that happened, and most of them were like $1 to $2, and I think this one was probably like $6, down from probably $14 to $20 for this variant issue. But I bought it because it just looks really cool. I mean, there's like a hidden skull face in the snow. It's kind of like Japanese style Logan, so it's really cool. It might not be Japanese, but it's something. So we'll go ahead and read this, and I'm pretty excited. We'll be back. All right, we're back. Wow, it took a while. That was what a comic. A lot of stuff happening in that thing. I didn't think it was going to be like that. So first of all, it was written by Ed Brisson. He did Shudder, Ghost Rider, Uncanny X-Men, and then The Mantle with Brian Level, which is he's a great artist. You should check him out. And like 498 or 500 more issues this guy has written. And then Mike Henderson was the artist. He's done Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, different micro series for that, for IDW, and Ghostbusters for IDW, and a bunch of other things too. I think he's done like 200 different comics or something like that. So the story, it starts with a group of people finding Wolverine and this old-looking Hulk in the snow, and the old-looking Hulk is Maestro. That's an alternate universe, alternate timeline Hulk that was 100 years in the future, and he's the Hulk all the time, and he looks like, I think he's the Hulk all the time, anyways, and he has Bruce Banner's mental aptitude. So anyways, he's dead, and Wolverine's almost dead. So I had to take some notes because there's a lot of stuff going on here. And one of these finders is this cool guy named Glob. His real name is Robert Herman, but he's he's just this big thing of wax that you can see through, and all you see is a skeleton. He's kind of a crazy looking guy. They actually put him in the X-Men Last Stand movie. I'll put a picture up here of him in that movie, and then I'll also put the picture of what he looks like in the comic, because he's just pretty crazy character. Kind of reminds me of that old Ninja Turtles toy that came out in 1990 or 1991 by Playmates, that you could see through him and see all the body parts. It's kind of like that. But so his ability is he's highly flammable. He could take pieces of himself off and throw it at people, and it doesn't hurt him at all. And he's got enhanced physical attributes and senses. He first appeared in New X-Men issue 117. So there's a little bit about Glob. I'm gonna try to do that every once in a while. If there's some characters that people don't know about, or maybe might not know about, give a little back history. Maybe maybe it'll become your favorite character that you just didn't know you had it. So they figure out that Maestro died by decapitation by Wolverine, and I don't know what has happened here. It's like they've came through a time portal or something. There's a little snippet of it, but I think this is a aftermath story of some previous thing that happened, because they got Logan on this life support stuff, and he does this little flashback, and it's just a one-page thing where it's like all cut up, different little pieces of what he's remembering, and there's Deadshot, and then there's Hawkeye with a bullet through the middle of his head, and all the X-Men are dead, and then just some villains around. And then he wakes up, and they tell him how bad he is, how bad off he is, and he says he knows it because he's old, and he's got adamantium poisoning. So the stuff that makes up his skeleton is actually poisoning him and killing him over time. But it's a very slow process because of his healing abilities. So anyways, so it goes on to, okay, Logan's main storyline here is he wants to go back and die with his family. So he's trying to, in this alternate timeline, find his family so he can die with them. But so what's weird about this is I don't know if there's going to be another Logan that he's going to have to fight because he is in a different timeline. So we'll have to see. But he also wants to track down Mysterio. It doesn't really give you a reason why right now, but it will later. So he goes to this bar, and he starts this huge fight, and there's this lady in the background, this ominous lady. It's Miss Sinister. Miss Sinister is a clone of Mr. Sinister, and her main powers, she's a really good telepath. So this whole fight occurs, and Wolverine starts beating this guy up and figures out how to get some information out of him. So he gives him some information, but he calls him a ding dong, which is just kind of crazy coming from Wolverine. Just while he's beating him up, he just asks him, ding dong. But I'll put that's my panel pick is that. So I thought it was pretty funny, and just seeing that coming from Wolverine. There's actually some pretty funny stuff in here as well. Ed Brisson's a great writer. So Logan decides to go where the intel leads him, and it leads him to this like old building or something, and ends up Hawkeye's there. So this gets back to, it gives you like a little backstory of what Logan was seeing. This is a young Hawkeye, so it's because it's an alternate timeline. So Hawkeye's asking him, why are you going after Mysterio and all this stuff? And he's like, okay, well, I'll tell you, I killed everybody. So Mysterio had done this kind of mirage or something that drove Wolverine to think that all of the superheroes were bad guys. So he just starts killing them all. And I guess something happens there that puts him through to a different timeline or something, but he's old. And they don't say much about what's happened, so that's all I really got on that. So Hawkeye wants to team up with him. He of course says no, but after a couple exchanges, they decide to team up. So the next page shows an old man, not an old man, just he looks drawn old, but I don't think he's really old. I think it's just the way the art comes across, which is very good in this comic, by the way. It's spot on, very clean. The only thing I don't care for is that there's no real the panels are laid out pretty generically. I like when panels make you flow through the story more. I just read a really good comic called Mountainhead, and that one has some of the best panel work I think I've seen. You might want to check that out. I think Ryan Lee did the art for that one, and it's good. But anyways, so let's see where we're at. All right, so the guy sitting in the chair, being waited on by this really attractive maid. So then she's asking him, "Is there anything else I can do for you?" Like kind of trying to make him think she'll do anything for him. And then you see Miss Sinister walk in, and the next page is just like a psychiatric ward, and it's Quentin Beck sitting there with an old lady trying to give him some medicine or something like that. So he has done this mirage in there, making it look like he's rich and in this big mansion and being waited on by attractive maids and stuff. But really it's just he's in a psych ward, and it's another old lady that's beside him, just messing with him. She's in the psych ward as well. So Miss Sinister, walks up and tells him that Old Man Logan's after him. Not really, she doesn't say Old Man Logan, but she says, Logan's after you. But I have some information that'll make you very happy and get you out of this place. So he's like, no, I don't want to do it. But she's like, okay, well, he's coming to kill you. And then she goes on to tell him that the information is that in the other universe, he had the power to kill all the mutants, which is what they're trying to do in this timeline too. But just Mysterio just doesn't have the confidence to know that he's done this. But she's seen it through Logan in the bar, so she read his mind. So now she knows what's going on. So she's trying to put that plan into place in this timeline because she doesn't like superheroes either. So she says we have to meet some people. So they leave, and then the next Logan and Hawkeye showing up at the psychiatric ward, and Hawkeye says, "No, we want to do this professionally." So he goes up to the main counter and asks the lady, and I'll give you the little rundown here because it's kind of funny. He asked her, we want to see Quentin Beck, which is Mysterio. She says, "Are you legal counsel or family?" And he's like, "No, I'm an Avenger." She's like, she knows the Avengers, and they are Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, and Captain America, and none of those he is not, or any of those he is not. And he says, "Well, there's more than 4 Avengers." And she's like, "Well, yeah, there's Ant-Man and Black Panther and Stingray." And he's like, "Stingray? How do you know Stingray but you don't know Hawkeye?" She's like, "Hot guy? Now I know you're putting me on." And he says, "No, not hot guy, Hawkeye, like bird and an eye." And she's like, "Oh, that makes sense now. You look more like a bird than a hot guy." So I thought that was pretty funny, but this is And then the next page goes to Miss Sinister and Mysterio doing the arbitrary villain thing, destroying a police headquarters, and they're doing that so that they can get Mysterio's costume. I don't know. They don't ever say why it was in there or anything like that. I don't even know. They didn't even ask. Mysterio didn't even ask how Logan's here. So it's kind of weird that they don't ask that stuff. But whatever. Maybe they'll in the next couple issues they'll say why. But so the night comes and Hawkeye and Logan break into the psychiatric place, but Mysterio isn't there. But there's a crazy guy, and he says, "Hey, the lady took him, but I have some information." And Logan's like, "Okay, well, can you give it to us?" He's like, "Information costs money, or is pricey, or something like that." And Logan's like, "Oh, well," and he's like, "What do you got?" And Logan's like, "Well, what about the knowledge of knowing that you saved lives?" And you guys like, "The knowledge of knowing that I saved lives doesn't get me anything from the vending machine." So he has Hawkeye go to the vending machine and get a candy bar and a soda. So he brings it back, and the guy's all mad because it's got nuts in it. And Hawkeye's like, "Well, you didn't tell me that you wanted something without nuts. You should have told me." So Logan sends him back to get one without nuts. So while he's gone, Logan chats up the guy, and he gets some information about him. And when Hawkeye comes back, the information wasn't that great, so Wolverine tells Hawkeye just to throw it in the trash because he doesn't deserve it. So Hawkeye's been doing all this running around, just getting candy bars. He's a superhero, and he's just having to do these little piddly things. Just kind of another little funny thing. So then the next page is Forge. Forge has been in this story for a little while. He's one of the people that found Wolverine in the first, the opening credits, and was helping to get him back into good shape. Forge is a Cheyenne Indian shaman that is taught by, I think, a guy named Naze, and he develops a talent for inventing mechanical devices. So he's got this laboratory, and he's this one page is here, and the top panel is him turning this big portal on, and he walks through the portal, and the next panel is the wasteland, which it seems like from Old Man Logan. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Old Man Logan or read Old Man Logan, but that's pretty much Wolverine as an old man. So I guess maybe this is part of that story. It has dinosaurs and all kinds of stuff in it. It's a really, really fun read. Wolverine and Hawkeye team up and do some cool stuff. I think actually Hawkeye does die from a headshot in that, if I remember correctly. I read it a long time ago, but yeah, so that Old Man Logan came from Wolverine series, and it did so well that they spun off a whole series about Old Man Logan. And it's really cool how they try to kill Wolverine. I think in that series is they surround him in his body in adamantite and develop him into a statue, so he's still alive, but he can't do anything because he's just encased in adamantium, and they make him into a big monument just out in a park, and nobody can talk to him or anything, and he just stays alive. And it's really, I think it's in that story, but that's really strange. So the book ends with Mysterio and Miss Sinister going through this tunnel into this villain's base, and they get in there, and there's just a group of people there, and there's this lady with, she's all red, like red hair. She's got all red stuff on, and she's like, "Oh well, maybe with this information we can fulfill my father's dream of killing all the superheroes and taking over the world." And then it's everybody around her is like, "Neo Hydra." So I'm guessing maybe she's the daughter of Red Skull or something. I'm not sure. I kind of looked it up, and this is the first appearance of this lady. It's her name is Neo Hydra. I don't know if it's the first appearance of the lady, but it's the first appearance of her actually being called Neo Hydra. So that was a fun little fact to find out. So I mean, it just goes to show you that there's keys everywhere. This issue might be worth $3, but if they make a show that features Neo Hydra maybe in Shield or something like that, then this issue could go up 250% and be worth $15. Or it just depends on how, that's the way comics work. They're worth nothing until somebody wants them, and people want them just because the characters get well known and stuff. So that's the way those things just happen, and it's kind of cool. But that's all for this episode. Man, it went kind of long, but there's a lot of information in here, so I'm glad we got through it. So you guys be good to yourselves, and I'll see you next time.